Hello everyone, welcome back to the platformer lessons. In lesson number 13, we'll add a moving platform that the player can ride on. First, let's create a class. I'm going to call this moving platform. Next, let's look for a sprite for it. In the asset store, look for the fan platform animation and add it to your game. I'm going to name it moving platform. There it is, movingplatform.png. Let's go ahead and set up that animation inside the moving platform class. First, it needs a sprite sheet. I'm just going to name it FlySS, and it's going to be a sprite using that movingplatform.png. And let's take a look at how many rows and columns it has. This is a fairly simple animation. There are only 4 sprites in it. And it's only one row still. So we have comma 1, comma 4. So let's go ahead and create that animation. I'm going to call it FlyAnim, and it's going to equal a new animation. It's going to use that fly sprite sheet at a speed of 10 frames per second, starting at sprite number 0, ending at sprite number 3. Let's go ahead and set that animation at the start here. We're going to place it on self, and it's only going to use that fly animation. We're not changing it at all, so we don't need to have the word self in front of the animation. Next, let's go ahead and add it to our level 3. All the way at the bottom, I'm going to add the code to add in this moving platform object. I'm going to name this platform mover, and it's going to equal a moving platform class. For now, I'm going to place the moving platform just to the right side of the player. So if his x is negative 600, I'm going to move this to negative 400. And I won't change the y. In order to test this, make sure you're setting the room to level 3. And it should show up right there. So since it's a moving platform, let's actually make it move. Inside the moving platform, we're going to create 4 variables. The first one is going to be a string. I'm going to name it direction. So we need self.direction equals up. Next, let's give it a speed. Self.speed equals 2. Next, we're going to add 2 edge points. This is where the platform is going to start turning around and moving back the way it came. I'll call the first one edge point 1 and set it equal to 0. And I'll call the second one edge point 2, which is also 0. Now the reason we added a direction variable is to be able to control which direction the platform is moving, either up and down or left and right. And it will move between these 2 points, which I'll explain in PixelPAD over here. So if our moving platform is moving left and right, what we're going to do is set up these edge points like we did for the turnip enemy's patrol. We'll compare the platform's x position to those edge point numbers. Now if we want our platform to move up and down, we can reuse those variables and instead compare the y value of the moving platform. Let's set that up in the code. Inside the loop, first, let's make the platform move. So we'll say if self.direction is equal to up, we're going to increase the y value by speed. The other if statements are going to be almost the same thing. I'm going to check if it's moving down, and if so, reduce the y value by speed. And now we have to do left and right. All right. So that'll control how the platform moves. Make sure you've got your symbols and x and y correct. If we're moving to the left, we're decreasing the x. If we're moving right, we're increasing the x. If you hit play right now, your platform will start moving up because it starts with the direction up. There it goes. But it's going to keep going forever and ever. We need to set a point to turn it around. That's where we'll use those edge points. Inside the first if statement, we're going to do another if statement. We're going to check if it has reached that edge point 1. So if self.y is greater than the edge point 1, we're going to tell it to start moving down. But we need to have a similar if statement inside each other direction. We just need to make sure we're using the right symbol and the right edge point. So if we're moving up and checking if the y is greater than edge point 1, then if we're moving down, we need to see if self.y is less than self.edge point 2. And if so, we'll set the direction back to moving up. We need to do the same thing inside the other if statements. For left, we need to check if self.x is less than self.edge point 1. And if so, we'll set the direction to right. And finally, if self.x is greater than self.edge point 2, we're going to start moving back to the left. All right, so that's all the logic we need inside the moving platform. The only thing left to do is set these edge points wherever we create the moving platform. Right now they're at 0, and that's not going to help our platform very much. Whenever we create the platform is where we want to set its patrol. So I want this moving platform to move up and down. I don't have to change the direction variable here because it's automatically set to up. All I have to do is say edge point 1 equals 200. I'll set edge point 2 equal to negative 200. So the platform is going to move between these two heights. And just like that, it'll start patrolling back and forth. If I did want to make it move to the left or right, I can add this line here and set this direction string equal to right or left. Or if I wanted the direction to start going down at the beginning, I can just change it to down. Finally, we want to let the player collide with the moving platform. Let's head to the player loop and scroll down until we find the collision with the floor. I'm going to copy this and paste it right below. So now we've got two copies of the floor collision. But instead of having it be the floor, I'm going to check a moving platform instead. That means I need to change this get collision as well. I can keep this variable's name as this floor because it doesn't matter what the name is as long as we're doing the code correctly. So when the player does collide with the moving platform, not only do we want to counter gravity and set his on ground to true, but we also want to move him in the same direction as the moving platform. For that, we need to look at this moving platform's direction. So we're going to add another if statement here and check if this floor's direction is equal to up. If so, we're going to increase the player's y position by the same speed. So this floor's speed. We need to do another if statement for each other direction. So if the direction is equal to down, we're going to decrease the y value by that speed. Same goes for moving left and right. So if the direction is right, we're going to say self.x plus equals the speed. And finally, if the direction is left, we're going to decrease by the speed. Whew, it's a lot of typing, eh? And you can test this out right now. You can jump on your moving platform and see that the player will move along with it. That's it. You can add as many moving platforms as you like. Just make sure that you set them up properly. If you're setting their position, make sure that their edge point is either less than or greater than that position. That way they can properly patrol back and forth where you want. That's it for this lesson. In the next lesson, we'll look at adding sound effects to our game. I'll see you there.